ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Jai Gurudev. So yesterday we read up until we were doing the second shloka. So quickly give up good desire for good desire prompted actions. So I will just play the Sadhana panckakam once. Let's listen to it and read the meanings of that, and then we'll go ahead with the reading.
What does cinnamon do for high blood pressure? Let me show you. Here it is, page 32.
वेदो नित्यमधीयतां तदुदितं कर्म स्वनुष्ठीयताम् तेनेशस्य विधीयतामपचितिः काम्ये मतिस्त्यज्यताम् पापौघः परिधूयतां भवसुखे दोषोऽनुसन्धीयताम् आत्मेच्छा व्यवसीयतां निजगृहात् तूर्णं विनिर्गम्यताम् सङ्गः सत्सु विधीयतां भगवतो भक्तिर्दृढाधीयताम् शान्त्यादिः परिचीयतां दृढतरं कर्माशु सन्त्यज्यताम् सद्विद्वान्नुपसृप्यतां प्रतिदिनं तत्पादुकासेव्यताम् ब्रह्मैकाक्षरमर्थ्यतां श्रुतिशिरो वाक्यं समाकर्ण्यताम् वाक्यार्थश्च विचार्यतां श्रुतिशिरः पक्षः समाश्रीयताम् दुस्तर्कात् सुविरम्यतां श्रुतिमतस्तर्कोऽनुसन्धीयताम् ब्रह्मास्मीति विभाव्यतामहरहर्गर्वः परित्यज्यताम् देहेऽहं मतिरुज्यतां बुधजनैर्वादः परित्यज्यताम् क्षुद्व्याधिश्च चिकित्स्यतां प्रतिदिनं भिक्षौषधं भुज्यताम् स्वाद्वन्नं न तु याच्यतां विधिवशात् प्राप्तेन सन्तुष्यताम् शीतोष्णादिविषह्यतां न तु वृथा वाक्यं समुच्चार्यताम् औदासीन्यमभीप्स्यतां जनकृपानैष्ठुर्यमुत्सृज्यताम् एकान्ते सुखमास्यतां परतरे चेतः समाधीयताम् पूर्णात्मा सुसमीक्ष्यतां जगदिदं तद्बाधितं दृश्यताम् प्राक्कर्म प्रविलाप्यतां चितिबलान्नाप्युत्तरैश्लिष्यताम् प्रारब्धं त्विह भुज्यतामथ परब्रह्मात्मना स्थीयताम्
A woman with insomnia
So we were on the second verse where we did offer everything, cultivate steady devotion to the Lord. That was step 10. And cultivate the qualities such as Shama Dama. This was step 11. And 12 was quickly give up for good desire prompted actions. We did this as well. Then 13 was approach a wise man who is capable of unfolding the truth of Vedanta. Even this was done yesterday. I will read this from here. We'll read this. Okay. So approach a wise man who is capable of unfolding the truth of Vedanta. Go to a guru or a teacher who is well versed in the scriptures, who is Shotriya, who is well established in self-knowledge, Brahmanishta, who comes from proper lineage, who knows how to communicate, and surrender to such a guru. How can we find a guru? In our current state of ignorance, even if a guru appears in front of us, we may not be able to recognize. So all we need to do is develop intense desire for self-knowledge by living the instructions taught in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita. When the desire for self-knowledge is strong and when we are ready, we will be blessed with a guru. How to approach a guru? Mundaka Upanishad gives an example of how to approach a guru. The student takes samit or dry twigs as collection or bundle that are offered in Vedic rituals to offer to the teacher. It's called samit pani. Here, the dry twigs may not mean much. It is symbolic of offering oneself. Here, the dry twig symbolizes seva bhava of the student. Student approaches the teacher and prostrates at the feet of the teacher. Prostration shows humility and letting go of ego. When a person falls completely at the feet of the teacher, there is no shadow, which symbolizes willing to surrender my ego. Prostration shows humility on the part of the student and giving oneself to the hands of the teacher. Another example from Gita where Arjuna surrenders to Krishna and asks him to teach. When the student surrenders to the teacher, it shows confidence and trust the student has in the teacher. For self-knowledge to take place, the student needs to have a disposition of mind that is receptive. When listening, there should not be any resistance. Mind needs to be receptive, absorbing. There needs to be reverence, faith in the teacher. Student should be able to see what the teacher is teaching. Student needs to be at the same wavelength as of the teacher. All this is indicated by the way a student approaches the teacher with shraddha, faith, bhakti, devotion, surrender, and trust. Step 14 is serve the sandals paduka of teacher daily. Serving the sandals or feet of the teacher means serving the teacher. Serving the teacher is a beautiful tradition. Actually, Guru does not need anything from us. Guru's needs are very less. Guru does not have possessions or positions to take care of. Guru, out of his love for us, allows us to serve his needs. In this process, sadhaka's likes and dislikes become neutralized. Serving a teacher needs alertness, observation. By serving the teacher, sadhaka can let go of his likes and dislikes. Serving a teacher is like meditation on the teacher, constantly thinking about the needs of the teacher. Acharya Upasana. For example, when a mother is expecting for a son to return home after several years, she meditates on her son and looks forward to seeing him. A true teacher will not exploit the student. True teacher does not need anything except renouncing of students' ahankara, likes and dislikes. By serving the teacher, sadhaka can gain the teacher's heart. Once the teacher is pleased with the sadhaka, he can now ask questions. Student needs to wait for the right time to ask questions. Serving Guru's feet also means following the teachings of the Guru. So serving the padukas of the Guru means, number one, not just physically serving the Guru, but also following the teachings of the Guru. And with that full explicit faith, shraddha, bhakti, devotion, and surrender and trust. How to approach the Guru? Samit Pani. That is in the Vedas, it's mentioned that you collect all these firewood, this bundle of firewood for the rituals and go to the teacher and offer it to him. But that actually implies, the implied meaning is that you are surrendering your ego. Unless you become empty in your mind and be receptive, you cannot receive the Guru's teachings. To be able to understand what the Guru is teaching and to get the import of what he is meaning, we need to be empty in our head. So that prostration is implied by surrendering our ahankara. And what Guru likes, he wants, is not anything. He doesn't have, his needs are very minimal. What he is looking for is just that we surrender our ahankara as well as likes and dislikes. Step 15 is ask the teacher to unfold knowledge of Brahman that is one, that is beyond destruction. After serving the Guru, when the time comes, ask the Guru about self-knowledge. Sannyasis and Gurus are respected as their sankalpas come true. They gain respect because of Satya Sankalpa. So seek their favor and ask for self-knowledge. Ideally, ask for knowledge where you can be free from all needs. As in Mundaka Upanishad, ask for the knowledge, knowing which everything becomes known. It is this knowledge that makes us free. By gaining self-knowledge, we can be comfortable with everything, understanding everything. Body, mind, and intellect functions as sentient, even though they are inert. By gaining self-knowledge, we know what causes sentiency. Ask the questions: what is bondage? Where does it come from? How does it continue to exist? How to be free from bondage? What is the nature of self? What is the nature of non-self? How to differentiate between the self and non-self? Ask about truth. Truth has to be one, ekam. Everything springs from one source. Ask for that knowledge to be revealed, gaining which one gains everything. So this is ask the teacher to unfold the knowledge of Brahman. So even when you ask a question, you'll have to wait for an appropriate time. That is why it is said for a guru to answer any question, you'll have to see whether it is the right question and asked at the right time. There is no obligation on part of the guru to answer every question that the shishya asks. If it's at an inappropriate time and an inappropriate question, it need not be answered. And that is what we find Gurudev so very often. There may be some questions he just, even in the darshan line when you stand, he would just not, be kind of, not give a direct answer to it. So, asking the right type of question, sincere question, not just for the sake of asking. So, what kind of questions? All about revolving around self-knowledge. And why sannyasis and gurus are respected is because their sankalpas turn true. So when they are pleased by your seva, and then ultimately it is their grace that gives us the self-knowledge. Our preparation, our sadhana is all about preparing oneself for receiving the self-knowledge. And because of their satya sankalpa, things happen. So seek their favor and ask for self-knowledge. So if you have to ask anything of the Guru, it is not for limited gains, limited achievements. Ask for the highest. And what is it? Ask ideally for knowledge where you can be free from all needs. So therefore, which means ask for self-knowledge. Not, I'm going through this trouble, get me out of this. No, that's such a mundane asking, right? So ask for the highest. So, as in Mundaka Upanishad, ask for that knowledge, knowing which everything becomes known. It is this knowledge that makes us free. By gaining self-knowledge, we can be comfortable with everything, understanding everything. So body, mind, and intellect functions as sentient, even though they are inert. But by gaining self-knowledge, we know what causes sentiency. So what the questions, relevant questions that should be asked to the teacher, to the guru, is what is bondage? Where does it come from? How does it continue to exist? How to be free from bondage? What is the nature of self? What is the nature of non-self? How to differentiate between self and non-self? Ask about truth. Truth has to be one, ekam. Everything springs from one source. Ask for that knowledge to be revealed, gaining which one gains everything. If anyone wants to share anything before we go on to the next point. So it is all centered upon the guru. The last three or 4 points, right? So one is seek out a guru. When you are intense, that the desire for self-knowledge is intense, the guru would manifest in your life. And when that happens, you serve his padukas. Serving meaning not just physically serving, but following his teachings. Dropping ahankara, letting go of likes and dislikes, aligning to the knowledge that he's imparting and imbibing it in the right spirit. And then, when the time is right, ask right questions. And if you've got to seek for the highest knowledge, that is self-knowledge, knowing which everything else is known. Then step 16 is listen properly to the Mahavakyas of the Upanishads. Upanishads contain the entire self-knowledge. Upanishads is also considered head of Vedas as it is the most important limb. Teachings of Upanishads reveal self-knowledge. There are 4 Mahavakyas, declarations of the supreme truth. Prajnanam Brahma, consciousness is Brahman. Tattvamasi, that thou art. Ayamatma Brahman, this self is Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. When a qualified student comes to the teacher should teach. When the student has no other agenda except self-knowledge, the teacher teaches. It is not easy for the teacher also to get that kind of student like Nachiketa. So the teacher praises such students. In Kathopanishad, Yama praises Nachiketa for being a prepared student. Respect for the teacher and the student goes both ways in our culture. Upanishad teaches you are limitless. Everyone is limitless. There is nothing but limitless. We find ourselves to be limited being with sorrow. Our conclusion is, I am small, limited being. By becoming CEO or a millionaire, I will become significant is our notion. The fundamental problem we have is our false notions and conclusions that I am a small, limited being. Upanishads teaches us that you are Brahman. You are already free. You are not a samsari.
Could you please read this again?
So the step 16 is listen properly to the Mahavakyas of the Upanishads. Upanishads contain the entire self-knowledge. They are also considered as head of Vedas, as it is the most important limb. So what are the limbs of the what are the different sections of the Vedas? The three important sections that we learned initially was Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, and Jnana Kanda. So the Upanishads are part of the Jnana Kanda. Teachings of Upanishads reveal self-knowledge. There are 4 Mahavakyas, that is declarations of the supreme truth. Prajnanam Brahma, consciousness is Brahman. Tattvamasi, that thou art. Ayam Atma Brahma, this self is Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. When a qualified student comes to the teacher should teach. When the student has no other agenda except self-knowledge, the teacher teaches. It is not easy for the teacher also to get that kind of student like Nachiketa. So the teacher praises such students. In Kathopanishad, Yama praises Nachiketa for being a prepared student. Respect for the teacher and the student goes both ways in our culture. So it's not just the student respecting the teacher also loves and respects the student. Upanishads teaches you are limitless. Everyone is limitless. There is nothing but limitless. We find ourselves to be limited being with sorrow. Our conclusion is that I am small, limited being. By becoming a CEO or millionaire, I will become significant is our notion. The fundamental problem we have is our false notions and conclusions that I am a small, limited being. Upanishads teaches us that you are Brahman. You are already free. You are not a samsari. So let's share before we go on to the next verse. So I'm just reading this one from Swami Chinmayananda's notes, the commentary. So the 4 pithy statements, which are considered by the rishis as the very commandments, and in their embrace, they hold the entire spiritual wisdom of the Vedas. They are: first is the definition of truth, second is the statement of advice, third is the statement of direct experience, and fourth is the roar of realization. So the first, the definition of truth is Prajnanam Brahma. Consciousness is Brahman. The second is statement of advice, that thou art, Tattvamasi. Third is the statement of direct experience, Anubhava, Ayamatma Brahma. And fourth is the roar of realization, Aham Brahmasmi.
Please read the 4 stages. First one is consciousness is Brahman. That is
the definition
declaration.
That is the definition of truth.
Oh, okay.
And the second is the advice, the statement of advice, that thou art. That is Upadesha.
Hmm. And third is
Third
experience.
is the statement of direct experience, Anubhava. This Atman is Brahman. I am Atma Brahma. And 4 is the roar of realization, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. All of them
Wow.
in their togetherness uplift a mind that is steadily contemplating upon this deeper and subtler implication. So, the fundamental problem we have is that we consider ourselves small and limited. Whereas the Upanishads say, remove these shackles of limitation. They declare you are limitless. Everyone is limitless. See, not only we consider ourselves small, we look at everybody else also as limited people. That is why we are bogged down by sorrow, misery, by imperfections, because we expect to see perfection everywhere. So
And then all trails started, success, failure, then that Maya takes over further.
we read earlier that true success is a state of mind, state of tranquility, not a mind that is demanding, that is caught up in the 6 Shadripus. And how can we do that? How can we cultivate that mind? By not only offering everything we do as a worship to the Lord, but also receiving everything that we get as Lord's prasada. Then slowly the hold of our cravings and aversions comes down. And then we are able to remain in that samatva bhava. And having reached that, don't need to wait till we reach that. That is a gradual process that happens as we continue in our life. But seek out, prioritize self-knowledge as your top priority. And then when the Guru manifests in your life, seek him, serve him, and learn from what he's teaching with utmost Shraddha, Bhakti, emptying our mind of ahankara. If you're approaching the teacher with saying, oh, let me test his knowledge, you would not get one bit of what the teaching is. So unless we empty our mind, because they say the Guru's words become a direct experience as you're listening to them. But that to happen, we will have to go with an empty mind.
Jai Gurudev. It reminds me of Totakacharya, how much devotion he had, commitment he had for his Gurupad Sevanam, and the kind of grace he received because of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, very right. He was considered the dullest of the 4.
In Bhagavad Gita also we learned that step by step, that is Guru Pujan, Pad Pujanam and all that chanting, that 16 steps. I'm not remembering all, but in Bhagavad Gita also there was told how to worship.
So our attempt, our self-effort should be in refining our upper story so that we are eligible to receive this knowledge. Be the ideal student. So living in the moment, letting go of the past and the future anxieties, letting go of the regret of the past and worries of the future, living in the moment and seeking the highest. Because when we approach the teacher is a repository of knowledge, of jnana, and he has the Satya Sankalpa. So when you're going to him, it's not mundane wants and desires that you want fulfilled, that you go and seek his company and his. It is to seek the highest. To let go of this limit, this fundamental error that we have, that we are limited.
Yeah, in Bhagavad Gita, that 9 steps given: Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana, Padasevanam, Archana, Vandana, Dasya, Sakhyam, and Atmanivedam. Atmanivedanam.
That is here.
Yeah,
in
that is
in
the Navavida Bhakti.
Navavida Bhakti.
That is the, yeah,
Navadha.
yeah. Whenever Bhakti is spoken of, it has the 9 different facets of Bhakti.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm. So when Guru is there, so same steps also there, no? Bhakti, in Bhakti. You worship Guru. The same. Yeah, in previous session, about Sakhyam. Sakhyam means Sakha Bhav is also used, read. That session I have not heard properly because I was not there in the class in the morning session. So I will go to that session again back on YouTube. Thank you.
even in Bhagavad Gita, all these are said, but not as a group together, but in different shlokas in different chapters, Bhagwan has thrown these ideas.
Here, proper clarity. It's like a
Ah,
capsule.
yeah, correct. Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, that is Atma Nivedanam. Then he said Patram Phalam Pushpam Toyam. So that is offering prayer. So these ideas are there in Bhagavad Gita, but scattered throughout. I guess we can take up a project and gather them together.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the verse 3?
Yes.
So till now, what all did we learn? What all were the first 16 steps? First shloka and the second shloka. Let's just recollect once. Each one can share one, and then we'll move on to the verse 3. First is listen to the Vedas daily. And yes, please go ahead. Everybody also share.
Seek a guru, and this is the last one. In between, there are many. I'm just jumping to the last one. Seek the guru and make yourself eligible to receive the highest wisdom from the guru. So you do all this Pada Sevanam, Pujanam, Atmanivedanam.
So listen to the Vedas daily and diligently do the duties enjoined in them. And then offer these. Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm not like going by order. I'm just going what comes in my mind. This is about don't argue. Don't argue with anybody, even with the wise. And absorb the wisdom without resistance, like the heart of a child, like a sponge. Absorb the guru's wisdom. Just simply absorb. For that, you have to make your, as you said, your heart and mind absolutely pure. Don't engage in gossip and waste your energy and time on all that. And the minute you realize you are strong in your seeking, free yourself from the bondages that is binding you. Be dhrida nishchaya on that. Be firmly established in that you want this freedom, and therefore you will use your body, mind, time, everything for that. At the same time, doing your prescribed duties and roles. And for that, as we all know, do whatever you're doing as an offering to the divine. I'm sorry, I will keep quiet. You go in that order.
No, please. Very nice. So, like you said, offer all what you do as a worship of the Lord. And it is not prioritized, that is not what is mentioned there. But then once you know realize give up desire-based actions. Let go of desire-based actions. And then realize that self-knowledge is what is to be prioritized. And when you know that self-knowledge is what, when you make self-knowledge your priority, then give up the bondage of home. That is, detach yourself. Do whatever you're doing with that sense of dispassion. So anybody else wants to also share?
Worship Lord, not ego.
Yes.
Yeah.
And wash away all the sins. How to wash away and what are sins? Sins are nothing but the negative tendencies, the vasanas that we get, which are born out of selfish, egocentric desires. So how to cleanse ourselves of these sins is recognize that the pleasures of sense objects are riddled with pain. We have those three things. Understand that the sense object, samsara, is riddled with desire-based actions, are riddled with three defects. One is pain, second is dissatisfaction, and third is attachment. So out of this viveka, come out of desire-based actions. And then develop the Shamadhi Shat Sampatti. Develop your Shama, Dhamma. And then we looked at how Pratipaksha Bhavana. When you have desires, practice Shama, control, mastery of your mind. Not by controlling or suppressing the desires, but by sublimating them out of viveka, understanding. And then when you have greed, lobha, all of that, you practice generosity by giving charity. When you're overcome by anger and hatred, transform that to compassion.
Pride, if you have pride, you do humility, will be the
Practice humility.
humility.
And as soon as the self-knowledge dawns, leave the house of bondage.
And when you have jealousy, you start appreciating that.
Appreciating, very right.
Don't indulge in these perverse arguments and all that.
Contemplate on these Mahavakyas.
And seek the self with consistent endeavor. It is not like you're only part of your 24 hours, you're spending some time seeking self-knowledge, and then you feel satisfied, oh, I'm doing my bit. No. Entwine it in all your activities. So that has to be your highest priority. And then seek the company of the wise. It is not just what is meant by seeking the company of the wise. It's, of course, being in their physical presence has great advantages. You'll watch how he or she lives and functions in the world.
By being in satsang, we can, totally observe.
Being in the company of the wise means also following their teachings, listening to their teachings and living them. And develop bhakti, the Navavida bhakti we saw. Archanam, Smaranam.
Four Upanishad statements.
Yeah.
Pragyanam Brahma, Tattvamasi, Ayamatma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi.
Right. Did we miss anything over here? Let me just check. Yeah, and seek the highest knowledge, all those relevant questions. Ask the teacher to unfold knowledge of Brahman that is one, without destruction. And how to approach a guru. And who is a guru? One who is a Shrotriya and Brahmanishta, and who comes from a proper lineage. Right? So let's move on to the third verse. वाक्यार्थश्च विचार्यतां श्रुतिशिरः पक्षः समाश्रीयताम् दुस्तर्कात् सुविरम्यतां श्रुतिमतस्तर्कोऽनुसन्धीयताम् ब्रह्मास्मीति विभाव्यतामहरहत् गर्वः परित्यज्यताम् देहेऽहं मतिरुज्यताम् बुधजनैः वादः परित्यज्यताम्. So, the 17th step is analyze the meaning of the Mahavakyas. World is experienced through sense perception and inference. However, self is not available for sense perception. For self-knowledge, Shruti, scriptures, is the pramana. Scriptures reveal self-knowledge through Shabda, words. These words are meant to convey self-knowledge through implied meaning, lakshyartha, rather than direct meaning, vachyartha. Upanishad's teachings are in the form of teacher-student dialogue and unfolded through various prakriyas, methodologies, panckakam viveka, 5 sheets, avasthatraya, 3 states of consciousness, waking, dream, and deep sleep, etc. At the heart of Upanishadic teaching is nature of self or self-knowledge that reveals that we are already free. Everyone is seeking freedom. We want to be free from all wants and needs. Currently, we feel limited, imperfect, incomplete, and frustrated with ourselves. The Upanishads teach us not to consider ourselves to be limited beings. The Upanishads give the right perception that we are already whole, complete, and limitless. In order to understand the teachings, we need to inquire or have vichara. Instead of questioning the Upanishads, we need to understand the knowledge that is revealed.
Could you please read this once more?
Yeah. So analyze the meaning of the Mahavakyas. World is experienced through sense perception and inference. However, self is not available for sense perception. For self-knowledge, Shruti, scriptures is the pramana. Scriptures reveal self-knowledge through Shabda, words. These words are meant to convey self-knowledge through implied meaning, lakshyartha, rather than direct meaning, vachyartha. Upanishad's teachings are in the form of teacher-student dialogue and unfolded through various prakriyas or methodologies. One of them is the panckakam viveka, 5 sheets, avasthatraya. That is the 3 states of consciousness: waking state, dream state, and dream sleep and deep sleep, etc. At the heart of Upanishadic teaching is nature of self. That is self-knowledge that reveals that we are already free. Everyone is seeking freedom. We want to be free from all wants and needs. Currently, we feel limited, imperfect, incomplete, and frustrated with ourselves. The Upanishads teach us not to consider ourselves to be a limited being. The Upanishads give the right perception that we are already whole, complete, and limitless. In order to understand the teachings, we need to inquire or have vichara. Instead of questioning the Upanishads, we need to understand the knowledge that is revealed. So here comes the element of Shraddha. So of course you'll have to do vichara. It is not like you're blindly following it. You'll have to question. And what type of questions? Right type of questions. So we'll stop here today. We'll continue with step 18 tomorrow. I think what we can do every day when we read is just to enumerate all the steps till then and then continue. So then in our mind, we have that train of thought. So
this Upanishads here, it's said it is the head of the Vedas. Till now, I used to think that Vedanta is the Upanishads, the end of Veda. So
yeah, see, the whole crux of the Veda is what is for moksha, right? The whole point of the Vedas is to gain moksha. So karma kanda, although it is given in the beginning, it is only to purify the mind and keep it prepared for receiving the highest knowledge. So it is actually the crest. The whole Vedas, the crest of the Vedas would be Upanishads. In that sense, it is called head of the Vedas. Although Vedanta means literal meaning is that it's the end of the Vedas. But the goal of Vedas again is self-realization. In order to do that, we have different parts of the Veda, right?
yeah, I understood like how Gurudev says, no, you keep a sankalpa in the beginning and then you do whatever you have to do. And in the end, you realize your sankalpa. I mean, you have your sankalpa and you drop it that first. So I feel like that Upanishad is like that the goal is liberation, moksha. Then you do all that karma kanda and all that, the path of the Vedas, different paths that they have enumerated, or through the scriptures you learn all that. Then you come to the end again, which is the goal, the Upanishads again. That's how I am understanding. Because in the Upanishads, the goal is stated very clearly. So Vedas are the means to reach this goal. This is how I am understanding. I hope that's close to the correct thing.
And that is true. It is through the Vedas, no? That is why they are called Shrutis. It is through knowledge, through words, that Shabda Pramana. For self-knowledge, Shruti is the Pramana.
And I liked this second statement here, which says, for self-knowledge, Shruti scripture is the Pramana. Scripture reveals the self-knowledge through Shabda, words. And these words are meant to convey self-knowledge through implied meaning, lakshyartha. See, that is where the lakshya means the goal, no? So implied meaning. Rather than direct meaning, vachyartha. No, I won't say hereafter we, I'll say I get caught up in this direct meaning, vachyartha. So we have to see this self-knowledge through the implied meaning, lakshyartha. Even in our ordinary conversation, we get caught up with the words only, no? We get hurt or we get elated by the words because we are going through the direct meaning, vachyarthas. So this power of speech is so so sacred. We have to use it very carefully.
So we'll continue tomorrow. We'll stop here. I'll play the meditation. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Since we already played the Sadhana Panchakam in the beginning, unless you all want it again, otherwise we'll go with the meditation.
We can do the meditation.
Okay.
Meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Except those parts of the body where you feel a tension, the other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here will lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the effort. Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open